So the movie's called Pastor's Kid. Courtney Bandico, who's the lead actress, and she's done a bunch of different things. I was kind of looking at her IMDb page. Legacies, All American, pretty accomplished actress and very good, man. She was great in the film. The kind of the thrust of the movie is that, Riley grew up in this really turbulent home. Her mom was an addict, and just kind of lived like this really wild life of ups and downs. At some point, her mom found faith in the church, and she sort of had this like mea culpa moment where she came to Jesus and turned her life around. How many of those kind of stories have we sat through? Like, if you grew up in the church, you probably sat through a lot of testimonies, right? Maybe you even gave your own slightly embellished testimony. What you don't hear about a lot of times is like, okay, this person, yeah, they've gotten their life together in some form or another, right? But like, it doesn't change like the wake of destruction that they left behind them when they were living wild, right? And when you have kids, I mean, that's especially true, right? If your kids have just been along for the ride while you blitz from place to place and partner to partner and things like that, they may be a little less like in awe of your sudden like conversion and lifestyle change. And I mean, the church, with it comes all sorts of things, changes in behavior and stuff. And a lot of times people who come to the church from a turbulent background, I think there's a lot of pressure, and they really feel like they need to, hey, we're going to go all in and adopt all of these like conduct standards and ideas about morality and what you can do and what you can't do. And if you're, a teenager watching your parent go through that, and all of a sudden like, hey, there's all these rules, but I don't know, 3 months ago, like, we were just here by ourselves, didn't know if you were alive or dead or coming back, if you were going to bring food. I've never really heard anybody tell a story from that perspective before, but it's really interesting when you think about the fact that, like, yeah, behind all of these great, like, turnaround stories, Christian or not, there's probably a bunch of people that had to live through the crappy, the first part of that story. And, maybe they're not ready to trust this person that they've put up with for so long. And that's kind of like at the core of this movie here. It's like young girl getting out of the house, trying to find her way in college and stuff like that, and wrestling with the fact that, like, her mom is all of a sudden like this religious minister and doing all this ministry stuff, and all of a sudden cares a lot about what's going on in her life and stuff for the first time. You get the idea. I think the movie really wrestles with some of those ideas in a cool way. And this movie is rated R. Yeah, another thing that you don't expect from a faith-based movie, right? These guys, they tried to reconstruct like what would this actually be like in real life? Not the cleaned up fairy tale, Christian whitewashed version of what life outside the church looks like. Paint an accurate picture of the world that Courtney's character Riley is living in and grappling with all this stuff in. It's a really good movie, and it's one that I highly recommend.